All right, so I'll kick things off. So hi everyone, my name is Michelle. I'm a senior from Richland High School, and my crazy TSA story is probably getting stuck in like an Uno elevator game where basically a bunch of people were playing Uno, and like if you wanted to get on the elevator, you had to play Uno, and you couldn't get off until you won a round of Uno. So that was a lot of fun, and I probably spent like an hour stuck in that room, but it was a good time. All right, Zane, if you want to introduce yourself.
All right, I am Zane. I go to Plymouth White Marsh High School. Wait, where's the list of things? Um, I sorry. A crazy story about me is about CSA is when at our cabin trip, me, Will, and Margot tried to prank the other officers and we hid in a bathroom for like over 20 minutes and they never came to look for us.
Yes, that was quite the time. We sat down and ate food instead. Erin, if you want to go next.
Okay, my name is Erin McKendry. I go to Richland High School. I'm a senior. And my craziest TSA memory has to be my teammates were making fun of me for carrying like literally everything you could possibly need to make a project with me up to turn our event in. But conveniently, our one part of our project fell off, and then I had to hot glue it back together on the stairs of the Seven Springs like stairway.
Love crazy project stories. Miriam, if you want to go next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miriam Ruback. I am a senior at State College Area High School. And crazy TSA story is I was the only student from my chapter to go to nationals when I went in middle school. And I got put with a bunch of seniors and we just kind of walked around DC, and yeah, that was an experience for a middle schooler to be with a bunch of high school seniors.
Nice. All right. Charlize.
Hi guys, I'm Charlize. I go to Bishop McCourt Catholic High School and I'm a junior and I'm your state reporter. My crazy TSA story was my first states. For one of our projects, we had a 3D printed element and we had 3D printed it the day before states, really tight, don't recommend. And I had forgotten to take the 3D printed parts with us to states. So once we got to states, we realized, and my advisor, I had to make my advisor drive back the 45 minutes to go grab the printed pieces before we could turn in our event.
Oh no. All right, Elijah, if you want to go next.
So I'm gonna pull out a classic for anyone who's ever been in this kind of question scenario before. My 8th grade year, one of my partners in Tech Bowl tried to break into one of the yachts at National Harbor.
Nice. Margot.
Mine's not that crazy, but basically I had an event and while I was like in the middle of the interview, the entire thing like fell apart while I was talking and it was really embarrassing. But we still wound up like placing in it, which was kind of funny. So
Well, last but not least, Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm a sophomore at Hardin High School, and one of my crazy TSA stories, it's not too crazy, but last states when I was going bowling after the officer elections had finished, and then last year's parliamentarian James just joined my friends and he went bowling with us, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. All right, is there anyone in the audience that would like to volunteer to go first?
I can go first. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a senior at Richland High School, and I think my craziest TSA memory is last nationals whenever something in the hotel caught on fire. So there were a bunch of fire trucks there. And of course, it was my side of the building, so we couldn't get up to our rooms to get anything. And it was so chaotic.
Awesome. I remember that happening. We were in the business meeting or something like that. um, let's see. Anyone else want to go?
I can go. My name is Harper. I'm a sophomore at State College High School. And this isn't a super crazy story, but last states, my team and like slash roommates and we all decided that we were not going to use the elevator at all during the state conference. And we were on the 9th floor. So it was kind of a journey every time we went up to our room, but it was good exercise.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if I could do that. All right. Anvita, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Anvita. I'm a sophomore at Downingtown STEM. And I'd say my craziest story is last year at States during my team's chapter team run. My secretary managed to fall out of his chair. So we all just kind of were there like laughing for like 3 minutes straight, I'd say. And needless to say, we did not do very well. Probably due to the fact that we wasted a bunch of time just laughing. But you know, it was a great experience.
As long as you get a good time out of it, that's what matters. All right, I think that's everyone, so we're gonna move on. So first we're gonna start off with some officer updates. These are just general things that we've been working on individually, and then we have like more broader things towards the end. So to start things off, so some of the things I've been doing, I've been maintaining our Discord server. If you're in the agenda, there's a link to join it. And then also we've been running our pin design contest. We actually did select a winner, and we'll be releasing the winning design soon. And then we have VCRMs. So obviously you guys are all here, so you know what that's about. But it's always really nice to be able to connect with you guys and sort of have like a way for you guys to talk to us as well. And then some things that you might not have heard about. So we've been meeting with other states. So yesterday we met with Oklahoma TSA, and throughout the year we'll be meeting with other states as well. It's just a great time to be able to sort of trade ideas and improve both of our states together. And then also new to this year is the PA post. So this is replacing our blog posts. They're basically just shorter articles, and we'll have several officers write about different things. So if you're interested in sort of like an extra little things like tips or fundraising advice, anything along those lines, you can find it in the PA post. All right, handing it off to Zane.
All right, guys, I'm gonna mostly talk about the Regional Representatives Committee. You probably all know what that is. Some of you are even in it. So our committee, we work on regional initiatives, really anything that each region wants to do, that they're able to do within reason. And some of them have regional officer teams. Some of them are even developing new regional officer teams. So that's really fun. And we're improving on regional connectivity. So hopefully later on, we're going to have some meetings where regions share their ideas. And then another thing we're doing that we've been doing these past couple of years is a state officer regional visits and special interest sessions. So at most regional conferences, you'll find one of us state officers there, and we'll most likely be holding a special interest session. I believe it's going to be getting involved in TSA, where we'll talk about state office and committees and other things you can do to get more involved. And I'll talk about more about regionals later on after the updates.
Great, thank you, Zane. Erin?
All right, so I'm going to be talking about the Outreach Committee. This year we have 3 subcommittees, and they're basically each focusing on their own goal. The first one is the Sponsorship Committee, which is currently in the progress of researching potential sponsors for PATSA and kind of seeing who we want to try and get in contact with. Then there's the Networking Subcommittee, which is functioning similar to the Sponsorship Committee, but instead they're looking into like fellow like-minded organizations that have a base in STEM education or like furthering like STEM education. And we're currently looking into those organizations to see if we can reach out to them and set up like mutually beneficial relationships. And then the final subcommittee is the organization subcommittee, and they're focusing on locating all of the resources that the officer teams of the past have created and kind of compiling them into a nice little database so that it's easier to find all of the resources we've made throughout the year.
Miriam, if you want to take it away.
Sure. So we also have 3 subcommittees in the National Service Project Committee, where we are under the conference and event planning. We're creating like a fun event for states to raise money for the ACS. So stay tuned for that. We're having a new special interest session that is led by state officers and NSP members throughout regional conferences. And we're also working on creating corporate sponsorship toolkits under our website initiatives committee. So we have a lot of great things going on in NSP this year.
Thank you, Miriam. Charlize?
Okay, so as a reporter, my main jurisdiction is the social media. So this year I have incorporated some new things, including I'm pushing new Instagram Reels, if you've seen some of them, not only the Q&As, but we're pushing some new fun ones out, and we're going to film some before states. So be on the lookout for those. I've also introduced TSA tips on the social media, which is just once a month. It's a carousel of the feed posts with just one main simple tip over multiple slides that I feel like some members could benefit from. Also, part of my job as a reporter is being one of the co-chairs for CAPC. So CAPC is also broken up into 3 different subcommittees. I had the brainstorming subcommittee, so we have been creating new ideas for the social media. Our next subcommittee is the graphic design subcommittee, which is working on the new logos for all of the student committees. And then the final subcommittee, Margot will talk about in her section.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Charlize. Margot?
Okay, hi everyone. So basically kind of similarly to Charlize, we've been working like on the Instagram, which we've gotten increased viewership on by making some reels. And then with our videos, we're sticking with like our classics, like the vlog, and we have the 72 questions coming out, but we also have new skits and challenges like the White Lies Challenge and co-chairs versus co-chairs, which is coming out in the coming weeks. And then with my committee and my subcommittee of CAPC, which is video production, we're hoping to create regional vlogs and create a new video tutorial series, which is my first, which is giving personal advice and kind of explaining things to new or even returning members.
All right, this got a little out of order, but Elijah, if you want to go next.
Yeah, so with CSAC, we're not trying to rock the boat too much this year. We're really just working to make sure that all of the other committees that want to run events, that we have the capacity to run those events. In addition, we want to try and bring back all of the special interest sessions that are kind of like states classics. So we're trying to make sure that this TSA experience is in line with what you saw before the pandemic, and definitely mirrors what we had last year. Beyond that, we're just trying to think of other ways to increase special interest session attendance and kind of creative ways to have people be more engaged. For the inclusivity committee, right now we're working on a Google form, on an anonymous Google form that we want to kind of aggregate some data about like what people view as issues regarding inclusivity within TSA.
Perfect, thank you. And then Will.
All right, yeah, so in BARC this year, so far we've been working on drafting a bylaw amendment. So that we'll be finishing up that soon and then transitioning into the creation of some materials, like some parliamentary procedure materials. So those might be some guides for chapter team, and then some things to help delegates navigate our annual business meeting. And then in CSAC, like Elijah said, we've been developing ideas for intersessions at regionals and states. So that's something we're working with our members to figure out what they want to do and how they can implement that. And then lastly, regional connections is something that I'm going to be working with Zane on. It'll likely happen between regionals and states, and that'll be a program where we'll help facilitate chapters from different regions connecting and exchanging ideas and making some new friends. So make sure you're on the lookout for that.
Awesome. All right, before we move on to more general things, does anyone have any questions for our officers? No? All right. Miriam, if you want to talk about chapter fundraising.
Sure. So linked in our agenda, I have a link to the website called Chapter Fundraising, which has some great resources for kind of starting out, different kinds of fundraising. So I would highly recommend taking a look at that. In NSP this year, we're also working on building even more resources. Also, earlier I touched upon fundraising special interest sessions at regionals. So I would highly encourage, if you have one, to head to that to have conversations about different fundraising for different chapters, what works, and gain inspiration from those. So those are some 2 tips that we're working on and have more coming from NSP this year.
All right. Charlize and Marco, if you guys want to talk about social media.
Okay, so as we've stated, PATSA has a lot of social medias. We have 4 platforms active right now. We have an Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, and a YouTube page. So the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter majorly have the same content being posted out, but the YouTube is just videos, so that content's a little different. And then our feed posts always lead to the YouTube videos once those are uploaded. Margot, if you want to talk about the YouTube a little bit.
So basically our YouTube hosts like our longer video content, and then also live streams from states, and then things like this, like the recording of the virtual chapters representative meeting, compared to our Instagram, where we do like have the individual Q&As, and we have like the real challenges and usually the intro video, but our longer content kind of gets posted on the YouTube. So it's good to like keep track of both to get all of the updates.
Next, we're going to talk about the chapter social media tips. So as a state reporter, I put together a document of just tips that I have. These are just recommendations by myself. These do not need to be followed verbatim. It's some things to be aware of. Overall, it's basically saying keep it professional, because you are representing PATSA when you create a social media page for your chapter. I have highlighted things like your profile photo, your biography, scheduling, and any example templates or post ideas that you may want. Some are linked into this document on the agenda. I do highly recommend sharing this with your chapter reporter if you have one, or whoever, if you have someone in your chapter who really wants to start a social media page, maybe share this document with them, and this can help them facilitate that.
And then we have a question, if anyone like has any ideas or would like to answer. It's kind of like any improvements you'd like to see on our social media, or it could be like video ideas or information that you want to hear or anything like that.
This is really just like a thought or suggestion that like maybe something you might want to do. But I know I see a lot of like other clubs from my school sometimes do like the poll things like on story, like Instagram stories. Have you ever seen those? Yeah. I think those might be fun, just like to get people like looking at the Instagram more and like having fun with it, but obviously not a necessary thing. So whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Charlize and Margot, I'm sure you guys can work something out There. Do we have any other questions or I guess comments? Oh no. Oops, my slides just disappeared. All right. Zane, if you want to go ahead and talk about regional conferences.
Yeah, so this should all be reminders for you. I'm assuming you guys have attended regionals before. Basically, if you haven't started your events yet, it's getting late. That's what I'll start with. Just kidding. But if you check the agenda, I've just put a few important links and information. So I've linked the regional conference page, which goes to each of your regions, and there's extra information there. Be aware of important dates. So there's going to be early submission dates. Those are coming up very soon. And there's different dates for different events. So just keep an eye out for that. So you can look at your regions, read, or some of them have like matrices. Each of region has some different things. So I linked a bunch of those on the agenda, but you can also look at the PATSA website for that, the regional conference page. If you have any questions that like you can't figure out, I suggest you ask your advisor first. Usually they will probably know, but if they can't figure it out, and it's pertaining to your region, a good person to contact might be your regional coordinator, but I highly suggest to just ask your advisor first because they probably can help you. That kind of covers everything. As I said earlier, make sure to look out for some of us at your regional conference. Come talk to us, keep us company. Were there any questions about this upcoming regional season?
No? All right. So this is really, really far ahead. I know all of you guys are probably very stressed about states right now and are not thinking about, or sorry, I messed that up. I guess you guys are thinking about regionals and not states. But we just wanted to touch on a couple of things in case we don't have a chance to like talk to you guys again before that. So applications usually, first thing I wanted to touch on is running for state office. So applications will usually open in like February, and then they're due 3 weeks prior to the state conference. Obviously, it's like a post-regionals problem, but if you guys have any questions about it at any time, feel free to contact Mrs. Evans about it or any senior state officer, and that would be me, Zane, Elijah, and Miriam, and Aaron. And all of our emails are just our position name at patsa.org. And you can also find all this stuff on the website as well. All right, and then we have a couple of discussion questions if some of the officers want to take over.
All right, so we were wondering if you guys wanted to share what you liked about last year's state conference. Anything at all?
I liked that it was in person. I know that's pretty simple, but I don't know, it was nice to get back into the swing of things with actually going to Seven Springs and making those in-person memories.
If there's nothing else, what are improvements you'd like to see for this upcoming state conference?
Yeah, I think Michelle's computer crashed. Do you want to share the slideshow, Zane?
I don't have it. Here, she's joining now. Anyway, did anyone want to share on that?
I think I really like the structured aspect that last year states had, and I think like even more of that with like having an activity like every night or every afternoon or something like that, that you can like have a structured sort of schedule. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, you don't have to go to these things, but it's nice to have like social events like that.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. If there's nothing else, does anybody have any specific special interest sessions that they'd like to see at the state conference?
No? Oh, all right. If you guys ever have any suggestions, we're always more than happy to take them. Feel free to email us at any time. We're more than happy to respond. That was it for our for the stuff that we have for you guys. So this last part, sorry, my like computer crashed and like the slides cut out, but this last part is just an open Q&A. If you guys have any questions for us or about states or regionals, anything at all, we just kind of open this up to you guys to ask and we'll respond. And this could be like any question, be fun, it can be serious, whatever you want.
I would like to know, like, just, I mean, it doesn't really matter who answered this question, but what was you guys' experience with running for state office last year?
I can take this. I had a lot of fun running for state office. Kind of just went around, gave middle schoolers fist bumps, then won. So I'd highly recommend it to anyone interested. I think it's not very scary if you don't take it that seriously. Like if you invest all of yourself into running, it'll be this scary, horrible process. I did that like my freshman year. But you know, as a junior, I kind of just was like, hey, you can chill about this. And it was fun.
Elijah brings up a good point about like during the running process, it's a lot easier if you're just think about it like you're talking to friends. I know during my campaign, I basically ran around and just like talked to everyone that I possibly could, even though it was kind of a bit of like getting out of my comfort zone because it's kind of strange to just walk up to a random person like, hey, you don't know who I am, but I'm running for an officer position. And it's kind of just taking those steps to like really break out of your shell and show your fellow like PATSA members like who you are, because in the end, like every year, even if you don't get elected, because like I ran the year before that and wasn't elected, it's a really good learning experience and you'll meet a lot of people during the process.
Yeah, like Aaron said, I didn't win my election this past year, but I still had a lot of fun. It's a great way to meet a lot of people and really put yourself out there. And it's a great experience. I recommend it as well for anybody.
All right, I think that just about covers it. But yeah, overall, it's a lot of people think it's like the scariest thing ever, and it is a little like scary, like getting in front of people and like really putting yourself out there. But in the end, like a lot of us have a ton of fun, and it's honestly just a great way to meet new people. And also, if you are elected on the state officer team, you have the opportunity to sort of implement like your ideas and try to make a difference in this amazing organization. All right. Are there any other questions out there?
I guess I'll go. What are you guys looking forward to about states this year? Because you asked us like what our favorite part was last year, but what are you looking forward to this year?
I can answer this. Something for us, I mean, being a state officer at a state conference is just such a rewarding experience in general. Being able to talk to everyone, like host events, host the opening ceremony, hand out awards, like even though it seems like small things, like it's just so rewarding to be able to like kind of finish out our work for the year with like just a fun conference. And it is really stressful, like it's nonstop moving around like having to be somewhere at all times, but it's very fun and we enjoy each other.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see everybody and really just enjoy my last state. So that's sad to think about. But yeah, working meeting different new people, talking to members, really just building on everything last year. It's going to be such a fun time and I can't wait.
Yeah, to build off of Zane mentioned, like it's the small things. I know the moment I found out that I was like elected, I looked to my friend and I was like, oh, I get to read the creed. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure. I love the business meeting every year. It is going to be a little scary having to deal with all the parliamentary procedure, but we'll get through it as long as no one in the audience makes any like super crazy motions. I think we'll be okay. Jacob,
When is States this year?
States is the 19th to the 22nd, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Yes.
Sounds right.
All right. Yes, it is 19th to 22nd.
And then we also had one question in the chat.
Yes. What programs or activities do you recommend for middle school students to take to help them get ready to run or apply for state or regional officers? Wow, that is a very lengthy question, but it's a very good question.
I can take this one.
Go
So
for it.
one of the great like kind of stepping stones before you want to run for state office is getting involved with the committees. So that's a great way to meet with the state officer who chairs your committee or multiple of their co-chairs and kind of get a glimpse into what their work is as a state officer. And then kind of one up from that is applying for a vice chair position. So that's just the person kind of right under the chair of the committee in terms of how that committee functions. So that's another great way to get involved. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but any of us state officers would be happy to accept someone into the committee middle of the year. If just contact us and we're very willing and happy to invite you in.
To add on to what you said, it's also very good to not only get involved on the state level and maybe the regional level, but also to get involved within your own chapter. Most chapters have already voted for their officers at this point, but always ask them if they need any help. So then maybe it might be good for you to be a chapter officer next year and the following years, along with regional office. Take part in your chapter's events and fundraisers, and kind of try to take on a leadership role if you can in your chapter position, because that will definitely help in any campaigns you plan to run, whether it be regional or state.
Yeah, just adding on to Charlize's point, it is a requirement that you have to be a chapter officer for 1 full year before you're able to run for state office. So definitely do keep that in mind. And then just some like general ways if you don't want to like get involved in the committee and things like that. Like my biggest tip is always just to talk to people, see like what problems people are having, see what they want to see changed, and see what you could possibly do to help, whether that's within your own chapter or maybe in the committee. And on the state level, like that's our entire job, to talk to members and try our best to represent them and make TSA a better place for them. All right.
Real quick, just to build off like joining a committee, beyond just joining, like when you join, there's something more than just putting your name on the committee. Like it's really important. Get to know your fellow committee members, talk to the chair, voice your ideas when you have them. Don't be afraid. All of the committees are really open spaces. We love to hear ideas. It's really conversational. So if you do decide to join a committee, even after joining, I really recommend like talking, just express your thoughts and feelings on really anything you feel like you want to.
Yes, thank you, Erin. It is definitely very important to be an active participant in committees and things like that. All right. Do we have any other questions?
I have a question. What special interest sessions do you guys have planned so far for states?
Do one of our CSAC co-chairs want to take this?
Yeah, I can start it off. So right now, most of the things that we're planning on doing, like nothing is completely set in stone, but we have a few from the past that we're hoping to continue. So getting involved with TSA is something that's happening at the regional conferences, and there will also probably be some form of that at the state conference. So make sure you look out for that, because that'll talk about some of the things we just talked about with committees and chapter office and a bunch of other ways you can get involved. We're hoping to continue the college readiness special interest session. So that was something we had last year, where some of the senior officers talked to members about different ways they prepared for college and applications and everything like that. And then with BARC, we'll also be doing the parliamentary procedure interest session. Anything you want to say, Elijah?
Just that we're trying to make sure we bring back all of the old favorites. That's, I think, our biggest goal. In addition to like making sure all the other committees can get their interest sessions for.
Awesome, thanks guys. Any other questions? No? All right, well, that concludes our virtual chapter representatives meeting. We'll probably be having another one prior to the state conference. So this is usually towards the end of March or beginning of April. Just be on the lookout on Instagram for when the next one is, if you guys are interested in coming. And by then we'll have more information about how the state conference is gonna work, which is obviously super fun. And also we have a quick little survey just so we can get your feedback on how we can improve these going into the future. So you guys could take like 5 minutes to fill that out. It's super short. It's also fully anonymous, so don't worry about saying anything that's gonna like hurt our feelings, or we're gonna like come after you or anything. Like it's, yeah. All right. Well, if you guys have any last minute questions, we're more than happy to stay on for a couple minutes, but if not, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you guys all for coming.
Hope to see you guys at regionals.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Me and Will just got here. Yeah.
PATSA.